Buenas noches. Bienvenidos a la clase de español. Es viernes. Estoy trabajando con el vocabulario de capítulo 1. Good evening. Welcome to Spanish class. It's Friday. I'm working on the vocabulary for chapter 1. Primero tenemos los sustantivos. All right, so los sustantivos means nouns. These are words that are either going to have an L or a la in front of them, or an un or an una in front of them. Remember, in Spanish, there are masculine and feminine words, and this is where we're really going to start getting into these. Un, or sometimes you'll see uno, not too often, is masculine, and una is feminine. And we can also add el and los and unos. So we don't need the capital letter. And here we can add la and las and unas. These are all of our articles that are going to come before nouns. The ones that I add s's to, that's the same word. Here it's going to be the, here it's going to be a or some. And the difference is this is when it's plural. So we have two things to worry about with agreement. That's going to be a big part of this chapter. The agreement with masculine and feminine, and the agreement with singular and plural. So let's get going so you can write some English down. La persona is the person. El muchacho is the boy. Usually an older boy. Niño is for a young boy. So this is more of a youth. La muchacha, same age, but now we're talking about female. El alumno is a student, a boy student. La alumna is a girl student. El amigo is a friend who is a boy. La amiga is a friend who is a girl. And this maybe is a word you've heard before. El estudiante, la estudiante. This one is a little easier to remember than alumno, alumna, because it sounds more like student. It almost has that same spelling. So el estudiante is a boy student. La estudiante is a girl student. Una escuela is the general term for a school, and sometimes that's just considered to be more of a primary school. Un colegio is a high school. Now be careful, because when we look at it with our English eyes, we're thinking, oh, that looks like college. But that's a false cognate. It's a high school. And una escuela secundaria is another way to say high school. Literally translates as a secondary school. So like I said, una escuela just by itself, that's more of a primary school. Okay. Unos adverbios. Adverbios are adverbs. We're not going to have a whole lot of them at this point in time. Bastante means enough. Muy means very. No de ninguna manera is no, not in any way. All right, we're just cruising through these. Unos adjetivos, some adjectives. This is where it's going to take a little bit of time. All right, notice that we have two forms of all of these written down. Unless, like over here, grande, there's only one form. That's because this can be used if it's masculine or feminine, but you'll notice on the rest of these, there's a form that ends with an O and a form that ends with an A. So if you're talking about a boy, you use the form that ends with an O. And if you're talking about a girl, you use the form that ends with an A. All right, with that out of the way, alto, alta, that means tall. Bajo, baja, that means short. Guapo, guapa, that means good looking. And that, generally speaking, can be used for a boy or a girl. But now these next terms here, they can only be used for girls, generally speaking. bonita, linda, hermosa, bella. They all mean pretty, but to different degrees. Oops, didn't want to do that. Okay, so bonita is pretty, linda, pretty, beautiful, hermosa, definitely more like beautiful, and bella is just like, whoa, out of this world beautiful. Feo, fea, ugly. Rubio, rubia, that's blonde haired. Moreno, morena, that's brown or dark colored hair. Pelirrojo, pelirroja, that's red-headed. Gracioso, graciosa. Comico, comica. These four words pretty much mean the same thing. They mean funny. So, two ways to talk about someone being funny. You might remember this one more because it looks like comical. The thing that you have to remember though is comico, comica. There's an accent. So, pick which one's easier for you. Serio, seria, that means serious. You could say somebody is un estudiante serio. So that means a very serious student. Ambicioso, ambiciosa, ambitious. That one kind of looks like what it's saying. Perezoso, perezosa, lazy. Fantastico, fantastica, fantastic. Timido, timida, timid. So that looks like what it is. Honesto, honesta. That looks like what it is. Honest. Generoso, generosa. That looks like what it is. Generous. Flaco, flaca. That's skinny and more of a, ooh, that person is so skinny. It's a not quite derogatory, but not as nice sounding as delgado, delgada. This is skinny too, but more like our thin. Oh, that person is thin, where it's more of a compliment. Um, you'd rather be delgado than flaco. I mean, they both mean somebody who doesn't have a lot of fat on their body, but this is the nicer word. Gordo, gorda, fat. Bueno, buena, good. Malo, mala, bad. Grande, big. Pequeño, pequeña, small. All right. Moving on then. We have nacionalidades. And I have a little note here. You don't use an indefinite article with these adjectives. So, what that means is you're just going to say that the person is that particular nationality. So, if I want to say I'm German, because I am part German, talking about myself, soy, I'm going to copy it. Then I'll get the accent without going through a special step. Soy alemana. I don't want to say soy una alemana. That wouldn't be correct. So that's what I mean by the do not use an indefinite article with these adjectives. So Aleman, alemana, that's German. Americano, americana, you can guess that's American. Argentino, argentina, from Argentina. Brasileño, brasileña, Brazilian. Boliviano, boliviana, Bolivian. Canadiense, and it's the same. I have it twice, whether it's male or female, and that's Canadian. Colombiano, colombiana, that's Colombian. Costa Ricense, again, same whether it's male or female, Costa Rican. Cubano, cubana, Cuban. Chileno, chilena, Chilean. Dominicano, dominicana, from the Dominican Republic. Ecuatoriano, ecuatoriana, that is somebody from Ecuador. Español, española, that's someone from Spain. Guatemalteco, guatemalteca, from Guatemala. Hondureño, hondureña, remember the H is silent, and that is from Honduras. I'm going to run out of video time in about 30 seconds, so this looks like a good place to pause for right now.